Hi, this is Axie, and today I wanted to show you some little, I guess, beginner tips for Dark Souls, the original one. Even though I'm probably like 6 years too late by now. Um, well, starting out, we make our main character. I picked a warrior. The only thing to notice here is that, as a starting gift, I picked the Master Key. We're gonna skip the tutorial here, and right away at Firelink Shrine we can find a bunch of cool little items around here, starting out with these three humanities over here, and going up here we can find this guy. If we talk to him, he's not really gonna tell us much. But if we keep exhausting his dialogue options, he first gives us this item, a copper coin, and after that he will become a merchant.
So what if would that? Very
Well, at first he asks you to join his covenant. Covenants are used for multiplayer stuff mainly. So after doing this,
Now
he offers you miracles and talismans, which is, well, a pretty useful thing to have, especially if you have like a faith-based character. So after that we can go up here and we can go up to the elevator shaft. Right now there's no elevator, but that doesn't matter. What we'll do is we'll roll down here and go down this tunnel, and this will lead us to this little secret area where we can find three chests. One is filled with homeward bones, the other one has a talisman and a morning star, and the third one has a cracked red eye orb, which is used for multiplayer invasions. And over here we can find another chest. This one has more loot, Lloyd's talismans, and we slide down here. Now the enemies over here, these skeletons, they're actually pretty rough. Like, if you're a first time player, I wouldn't recommend fighting them just yet. They soak damage like crazy, and they also deal a ton of damage, and their swords can cause bleeding, which this early on can kill you immediately. So what I recommend is just run away and go and level up, and if you need to, just go farm souls or whatever, because once you're done, we can go back down here. I didn't really level up all that much, so I'm not dealing all that much damage, but the stuff we can find over here is pretty damn useful, so I'm gonna just speed up combat over here. If you have to fight them, I suggest just two-handing your weapon and using strong attacks. Each strong attack, as you can see, stuns them. We come over here and yet another couple of skeletons pop, so we kill those two, or if you're feeling lucky you can just pick up the item over there. This is a these items are basically they add to your soul stock. So if you're ever low on souls and you wanna like level up or buy something or whatever, you can use them. They add varying amounts of souls. So we can come over here and immediately this big guy wakes up. You can avoid him if you want. He's pretty slow and pretty easy to dodge. I'm gonna fight him because, well, I need the souls, of course. Again, just like the first ones, just dodge and use strong two-handed attacks. Strong two-handed attacks. This one doesn't stun as easily, but it's feasible. Eventually he dies, and you can come back up here and you'll find the winged spear, which is a pretty damn useful weapon for a dexterity based skill. And if you go lower, you can find a bunch of other enemies, but also the Zweihander. Now the Zweihander is a really gigantic two-handed sword, which will be extremely useful for strength based characters. The warrior here, for example, If you level up your strength to 16, I believe, that's more than enough to wield it two-handed. Now the problem is this sword is extremely heavy. So what you can do is unequip your helmet and your gauntlets, and soon enough you can mid-roll your way through things. This is an extremely powerful weapon. You can easily keep it as your main weapon throughout the entire game. Of course, you'll have to eventually upgrade it and whatnot. But notice that every single early game enemy basically goes down in one swing. It also works pretty well to block. Like, you can notice it blocks quite a lot of damage. So it's basically designed around holding it two-handed. This weapon, like I said, you can keep it as your main weapon throughout the entire game. You'll have to upgrade it with Titanite. It scales really well with strength, and I believe it also scales with dexterity. Not nearly as well, but it's still pretty damn good. And of course you'll want to increase those endurance points to have plenty of stamina so you can swing it more than a couple times. As you can see here, I'm using those lost souls I found earlier to increase my soul stock, which I'm gonna use to level up. Now here we are at the Undead Burg, again showing off just how strong this weapon is. And there are plenty of little secrets you can find in this area which are really helpful for a starting out character. Before crossing the fog gate, you can come back here and you'll notice this bunch of barrels. You can roll through them and you can find yet another lost soul down here. Again, they add to your soul stock. And there's a little ambush over here. They're pretty easy to kill. We can go back here and check and notice there's absolutely nothing over here. So you go back and you can enter this small area and you can find yet another ambush. A really easy one to spot, thankfully. Again, these guys go down in pretty much one hit, so it's not much of a problem. Now, this item over here is rubbish, like literally rubbish. Quite an insult, but if you go up the stairs, you can find some extra humanity. And this will become really helpful later on. Now you just drop down this hole and avoid this guy and you're back to the beginning of the area. Now later on when you come down here where there are two spear guys, you kill them and you'll notice this bunch of boxes over here. If you destroy those crates, you can uncover these steps that go down to this area. Many early players like completely miss this area. It's kind of pretty well hitting, I guess. So you can come down here and you'll find this guy, and this guy is your first like actual merchant. He will sell you supplies, weapons, arrows, and armor. Here I recommend buying the Residence Key if you don't already have the Master's Key, because we're gonna use it in a second. Also, this Orange Guide's Soapstone. This is the thing you're gonna use to write messages if you're playing online. So you can also come down here and there's this little secret area. A bunch of relatively easy opponents. Again, they go down in one hit with this weapon and really they don't take all that much extra damage with any other weapon, really. So we go up this ladder, and we can find some throwing knives on the roof. But besides, you see that little broken bridge down there? You can actually jump from here and you'll land on there. And then by going up these steps, you'll find a crossbow and some bolts. Now, I'm not much of a crossbow player, I don't really like them, but they can be really helpful if you want to like keep distance between enemies and whatnot. Now we're here at the first bonfire, and before leveling up we're gonna use a couple of our humanities. Why are we doing this? Well, for two reasons. One humanity is gonna be used to reverse our hull wing and turn us back into humans. You can do this for two reasons. One, so you can either summon or be summoned or be invaded in the online game. But the second reason is because we want to kindle the flame. Now, why do you want to do this? Because if you rest on a kindled bonfire, your Estus actually restores up to 10, whereas if you rest on an unkindled one, you can only restore up to 5 Estus. In this later area, we will find this house. We'll use the residence key or the master's key, and down here you can find a chest which contains gold pine resin. This stuff will become extremely useful later on for boss fights and whatnot. This door over here later on, you can go through that door if you have the master's key, but I don't recommend it just yet, at least for restarting characters. It's a pretty useful shortcut, but down there's a specific enemy that can be quite a headache. So instead we're just gonna cross the fog gate and we're gonna go up this ladder. And we're gonna kill these guys. If you know about the series, then you'll know that this is a boss area. There's a boss later ahead. So what we're gonna do is, well, first I'm gonna organize my items a bit. Now we go down the ladder, and what we're gonna do, we ready our gold pine resin. We approach the tower, and here is our good old friend, the Taurus demon. This guy has always been like a lot of trouble for for beginners basically. I know I was stuck in this fight for like 3 days. But basically, you're gonna use your gold pine resin and drop down on this guy and hit the attack button. And as you can see, one single hit from this electricity imbued sword will take out well over half of his health. And a couple swings more, and he's done in 3 swings with just an upgraded Zweihander and gold pine resin. And so we've come to an end in this little, let's call it a beginner's guide. I hope you liked it. I had a lot of fun making it. I made it mainly so a friend could enjoy this a little bit more, and see you later.